kontaan bu baax sax si ñëw bi nga ñëw seet si suma tabax gi kontaan naa ci trop.
maa gën a kontaan bi ma ñëwee fekk sa tabax bi toll fii waaye nag man kontaanuma ci sama kër gi man.
lu xew.
ndax umpale wu loon ne ñoo bokkoon nekk Europe.
dëgg la
jamono yu ñu nekkee foofu yëpp man ak yow maa ngi am benn waay maa ngi ko yónnee xaalis bu bari pour mu sampal ma suma kër. te ba léegi tabax bi àggul fenn. te yow nga waxoon ma ne ma bi nga starté samp yàggul léegi nga toll fii foo jaar.
li waral loolu nag mooy dama ànd ak waa Baluwo.
kon su ma la déggee Baluwo dañuy yëngu ci samp kër tamit.
ni ngay def nag yomb na da ngay log on to www.baluwo.com mun ngaa jënd ci ñoom ciment suuf banta weñ ba ci daaj yi nga xam ne di nga ko soxla lépp lu jëm ci wàllu samp rek mun nga koo am ci lu yomba ak Baluwo daal yaay dugal sa xaalis fi nga ko bëgg a amee ko ci ni nga ko bëggee.
Citizens Alliance in the Gambia has declared coronavirus as the third world war, places measures to support affected communities. Extension of COVID-19 lockdown causes desperate situation in the parts of Zimbabwe as citizens experience food shortage. COVID-19 lockdown offenders have been kept in check by regulators in Nigeria. This and more coming on The World Today. Hello, this is iAfrica TV and many thanks for joining us. It is 1800 hours GMT in our studios in Banjul. You are watching the World Today News Bulletin. I am Amadou Kante and now the news in detail. Now, in a bid to defeat the global pandemic, Gambia's political figures have called on the government to join forces with sister nations across the world to fight the common enemy. This forms part of Citizen Alliance campaign to declare COVID-19 as the third world war, at a time that no country is fully prepared for the challenge. The new party commits to support up to 28 communities during a first phase of attack on the virus. Let's have more details of that in this report.
One of the newest political parties in the Gambia, Citizen Alliance, has declared the coronavirus pandemic as the third world war that requires measure on governments and stakeholders to advance victory for the sake of humanity. Speaking at the party's press conference on Thursday, Chairman and interim party leader of Citizens Alliance, Dominic Mendy, said, although COVID-19 is not human, it is real and elusive, adding that it takes special cognitive capability to understand the virus as enemy and ways to fight it.
Humanity is under attack and the enemy is elusive. The Gambia, like all third world countries, is ill prepared for this war, which it must fight. Since every nation must contribute soldiers to this battle. Even the most developed countries of the world the richest countries of the world, the Chinas, the Japans, the Europeans, and the US, are battling this war, and they are struggling to survive the intensity of the battle.
Mr. Mendy said, as a result, Gambians and the rest of the world must rise up to the challenge, noting that it is a world war being fought with all nations fighting as allies. Dr. Ismaila Cisse said, like in any crisis situation, leadership, solidarity, and compassion is required. He described the coronavirus as a common enemy for which he urged government to assume leadership roles informed by a comprehensive assessment of local realities.
Nonetheless, conspicuously missing in the government strategy also, however, is a socio-economic blueprint or response plan that would address the financial and economic ramifications of the disease and an unexpected burden this places on our people and their livelihoods. Therefore, CA believes that the measures put in place by the government to contain the virus has the potential to cause adverse financial and economic impacts on our already poverty-stricken population.
Dr. Ismaila Cisse said the primary responsibility of any serious government is to ensure leadership in times of crisis, to ensure that the health, economic, and social well-being of citizens during the pandemic of this nature and other disasters. Meanwhile, Citizen Alliance launched its COVID-19 response to the coronavirus pandemic with a relief package of over 200,000 meant to support the most vulnerable groups of the society.
It constitutes two components over two phases. The first phase will focus on helping poor families so they can be able to cope with the economic effects of the pandemic through cash support. To this end, CA will disburse as seed money over $200,000 to support needy families in 28 communities, women in particular. The second phase will focus on recovery.
UN Economic Commission for Africa estimates that over 300,000 Africans could die from the coronavirus. 27 million people could be pushed into extreme poverty. Citizen Alliance is a political organization founded on the ideals of democracy, civil liberty, social cohesion, and justice. For iAfrica News, I am Juldenja Suare.
CA, or Citizens Alliance, they are committed to support communities in the fight of COVID-19. Now, let's stay at home because the President Adama Barrow, submitted before his colleagues in the West African bloc that the coronavirus pandemic has hampered the Gambia's economy with job losses and possible collapse in many businesses. He noted that it is tragic that the vast majority has no regular income and no social security in case of loss of wages. Mr. Barrow, together with his cabinet ministers, took part in the ECOWAS online summit on the situation and impact of coronavirus on the West African region earlier today.
This pandemic will certainly continue to have devastating consequences on our economies. 2/3 of workers in the Gambia work in the informal sector, which accounts for 80% of the informal economy. It is tragic that the vast majority have no regular income and therefore have neither savings nor any social security buffer in case of loss of wages. In this difficult situation, they cannot meet their basic necessities. In revisiting our policies to address COVID-19, health and social protection measures have been given priority, ranging from testing and treatment to building the human resource base in the health sector and expanding social assistance.
President Adama Barrow speaking there during a conference meeting with his ECOWAS colleagues earlier today. Next to Nigeria, where Nigerians who faulted COVID-19 lockdown measures are made to pay the price by cleansing the state of the capital Abuja. The government had shut down major cities as part of measures to curb the spread of the disease. Majority of the citizens have adhered to the regulations, but over 200 offenders have been arraigned in courts for violations of the regulations. For more details of that, we go with this report.
These are defaulters of the COVID-19 lockdown order serving their sentence, a day of sweeping the streets of Abuja. Major cities in Nigeria have been on lockdown for nearly 4 weeks, part of government's effort to curb the spread of COVID-19. Movement is restricted to only people in essential services like healthcare workers, food processing and production outfits, and media. Although the compliance level has been high, many citizens are seen to flout the stay-at-home order.
If we close school, close mosques, close market, close churches, close every gathering just to keep people at home, and they're not coming out in their thousands to come and jog, the purpose is defeated. It's very, very much defeated, because even those who are coming out to jog don't even wear enough clothes. Sometimes you don't even know who is touching you. Anybody who comes there claims to be a trainer. You give them your body to touch, to exercise your leg, your shoulder, and whatever. That's very risky here. We are doing that, and most of them in coming days will be facing mobile court in very large number.
More than 240 violators have been arraigned and convicted within the city.
Ordinarily, when convicted, the persons are meant to serve some form of sentence as a punishment. But what is being done here, probably to give human face, and the bulk of the persons are people who will tell you they are going out to buy food or look for money. So what they are made to do is to pay 1,000 as a fine. And also, you can see the streets around here is clean. The streets have been cleaned up by persons who have been found and convicted and sentenced to have violated the regulation. So the measures taken now, which we hope will deter others who are seeing what is happening, is to compel them to do this community service.
Asked me if I had any ID card of movement, so I said no. We should adhere to what the government have said, because definitely the government is also trying to help the communities because of these signals. We don't have to disobey. The only problem people are having is that they were not quite aware that this is going to happen, so that they can prepare themselves to have things at home to eat.
The court is still lenient with the sentencing at this time. No offender has been jailed so far. The task force says it will continue to appeal and sensitize residents while enforcing the law.
And from that report there in Nigeria, we come back home and continue reporting on the efforts to fight COVID-19 in the Gambia, because Staff Africa Global has extended its support in the fight against COVID-19 to local government authorities. A sum of 650,000 was dispensed to the municipal and area council to boost their efforts to contain the spread of the coronavirus in the various localities. Staff Africa Global Foundation had earlier contributed differently to consolidate national efforts to limit the spread of COVID-19. Let's have more details of that in this report.
In support to the national response to the coronavirus global pandemic, TAF Africa diverted its annual budget meant for the TAF Foundation to the 8 municipal and area councils of the country. The presentation activity shows the Banjul City Council receiving the sum of $200,000, while Kanifing Municipality and Brikama Area Council each received $100,000. $50,000 went to Basse, Kuntaur, Janjambure, Mansakonko and Kerawan Area Council each at a ceremony held at the TAF Africa office in Burfoot on Thursday.
We're here today to hand out checks to the different chairpersons of the different area councils from Brikama to URR. And with our foundation, we have committed 1% of our revenue at the global level, to spend, in giving back to communities that we serve. Mostly, we target the youth, but because of this disease, we're diverting all our funds for this year into health and also to communities.
Fode Danjo, Vice Chairman of Gambia Association for Local Government Authority, used the opportunity to commend the humanitarian gesture from TAF Africa.
No amount is small in the fight against COVID. What is only important is you have the zeal and you have the heart to do it. Because removing almost about $1 million or $500,000 to give it to the local government authorities, I think is a word to be considered. It's a word which is very laudable. On behalf of my fellow chairpersons present here, I would like to seize this opportunity to thank Mr. Njai very much, to thank his company, to thank his staff for this benevolent gesture.
TAF began what it called a corporate social responsibility with a $2 million donation in response to the private sector called by the Gambia Chamber of Commerce. The gesture is meant to prepare the old Ndemban Clinic to serve as a major COVID-19 treatment center in the Greater Banjul area. As of Monday, the COVID-19 has resulted to the death of over 169,000 globally, with more than 2.4 million cases confirmed worldwide, according to the World Health Organization (WHO). Europe accounted for over 109,000 deaths, while the American region recorded up to 44,000 due to the virus. Deaths in the Eastern Mediterranean stands at 6,000, Western Pacific at 5,000, Southeast Asia at 1,000, and the African region records 720 deaths because of the coronavirus. Reporting for iAfrican News, I am Aissatou Tamba.
TAF Africa Global Foundation, they are supporting local government authorities in the fight against the coronavirus disease. There's more news coming ahead, but for now we'll take a break and come back shortly with the remaining update stories. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Have your say.
Fellow Gambians, my government has approved a $500 million emergency fund, which the Ministries of Health and Finance will work on for disbursement and use to fight COVID-19 menace.
xaalis bi tege yomb na waaye xam lu jafe mooy séddale bi ni ñu ko séddalee ak ndax danañ ko jox ñi ko yeeyoo wala duñ leen ko jox loolu moo jara laajte.
cos loo xam ne la nit yee tax ñu joxe ko te nit ñi ñoo leen fa teg te xaalis nit yi la comme xaalis population bi la. wax dëgg yàlla li gënoon mooy ku nekk gis sa boppa
man su ma sañoon daal ñu séedoo ko nu mu waroo buñ si def xaaj loo ñii diw nañ ko si ku nekk loo war a am nga am ko.
askan bi seen dem ak dikk bu ñu wàññee mu jël ko def ko si loolu noonu participer ko si loolu noonu ba nga xam ne danañ mën a ànd ak moom si wàññi suñu dem ak suñu dikk.
génne leen xaalis bi nañ ko génnee ñu defar suñu réew mi defar réew nag da nga koy commencé njàng mu baax nit ñi di faju feebar di faju tan feebar di faju dafa xemul kombo loolu affaire bi du kombo rek nañ génne ci àll bi yëpp ñu defar fa hôpital li war man mi nekk kombo moo war ka nekk fototo moo war ka nekk Pokaw Njóogu moo war ko nekk feneen.
waaye nit doo ko mën a wax mu teg këram joxuloo ko dara lu mu lekk soo ñun balaa corona dañu rey xiif moo ñoo rey.
nguur bi su nekkee ne 500 millions Gambie ñaata population bi ñu ñaata lañ.
2 point or 1 point.
ok 2 point boobu noonu su nekkee dañ ko war a séddale si nit ñi ku nekk ñaata la war a am.
million su bëri soosu noonu nañ ko xaaj jox xel benn xaaf ñu téyegum ñu jël beneen xaaf bi yóbbu ko ci communauté bi ñu téyegum.
silang ni nga arda ko bulu courant lu sotota ani borolu sayin pentanglu panande nyante hakilo falol panankan
ya foko nga ta si suo kono man sala million be maburu nga bulo kono man sana la kuol bebe kuo be kala jeto hanen yin min fankana fontolen ko nga ta si suo kono fotolo man tara man sa do kuol nin karo fate man tara kejo
xaalis boobu dañ ko war a xaaj ñu jël xaaj bi dugal ko ci wéru gu yaram bi ñaareel xaaj bi dugal ko ci askan bi.
Have your say.
Welcome back. You are watching the World Today News Bulletin on Africa TV, and now to the rest of the stories. Now, the Gambia's Health Ministry has written to the country's leading private GSM operator, Africell, to stop disbursement of the $12 million donation made recently to doctors and nurses fighting against the COVID-19. As Ansala reports, a leaked letter titled "Listing of Health Sector Staff Without the Authorization," signed by Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Health, Mohamed Lamin Chaite, stated that it is unacceptable when the ministry has been sidelined in the disbursement of funds. The Health Ministry claims Africell is listing its staff without authorization and therefore orders the GSM operator to stop with immediate effect. This development is worrying to the Ministry of Administration, as until this time the Office of the Permanent Secretary has neither received any formal letter of engagement or has the administration been approached for its authorization for the conduct of disbursement of funds to health workers, the letter reads. According to PS Chaite, it is this ministry's stamp position that the coordinated or the uncoordinated approach taken by Africell has the potential of causing serious negative accountability and sector management implications, which the ministry is not prepared to condone. On the basis of concern, the ministry hereby orders your good office to immediately stop whatever activity it is doing in this regard until Africell engage the ministry administration in written in accordance with the due process, he stated. Joining me now is Ibrahim Abba, who has been covering COVID-19 events, including Africell disbursement, very closely. Well, thank you very much, Ibrahim, for joining me on this platform. Now, what sort of a move has the ministry taken against Africell GSM company?
Yeah, thank you very much, Amadou. This move exposes somehow the lack of communication among government departments, that is two ministries in questions, because Africell came in to donate to the government $12 million, and this was received by the vice president with some other cabinet ministers. A day after which, the Africell continued to, various hospitals that, it wants to give these monies to, starting with the main referral hospital in this country, that is the RVTH, where, the listing of staff, doctors, and then the issue was discussed, and where they highlighted the fact that, doctors will be receiving a monthly allowance of $2,000, while other segment of staff within the health facilities or hospitals that are targeted will receive $1,000 per month within a period of 3 months. So all of a sudden, what we saw, there was no comment coming from the Ministry of Health until almost a week, when they are saying that this is not coordinated. So this surprises, common sense why it is coming after almost 1 week, when it is actually the whole show started at the highest office, that is the at the State House. So the Ministry of Health didn't take any action, and then at that time they did not even know as to who will benefit. It was only after, when the Africell community went to the hospital, began to visit hospitals to meet up with nurses and health workers, then was the moment when people knew exactly who should receive.
Very well. Now, wouldn't it make sense or right to say the offer was aggregative?
Yeah, actually, the offer could be controversial, agreeably, because looking at the first day of handing over this check to cabinet officials, you could see the lack of respect to social distancing at the office of the vice president. And this is an issue which the Minister of Finance later on apologized during the daily press conferences held by the Ministry of Health, in one of the joint sessions. He was questioned by the journalists, and he said they regretted for the action, but to have lot of cabinet ministers to crowd over one check, was definitely something which the government is regretting today. And it also depicts that the private sector coordination is not in order, while others, the GCCI Chamber of Commerce is calling on the private sector to coordinate, the support of private sector for this fight of COVID-19 through the chamber, AFRICEL and others are going on their own way. So it might be fine, but now that the issues are backfiring, now the accountability measures need to be remembered now. The coordination is a problem.
Very well. Just finally now, of course, we know AFRICEL spent a staggering amount of $12 million in this, fight. Now, how would this controversy affect the fight against COVID-19?
Yeah, the reaction from the Ministry of Health to ban AFRICEL from further activities within the hospitals, working with the health workers, is something that has the potential to create damage for such a big company. And then this might also instill fear in other private sector companies if they choose to come in. And now they have to think twice what they must do. So also, if you look at the issue of frontline workers, so their issue has always been in the public domain as to they are the ones facing these cases of coronavirus. While people are told to stay at home, they continue to go to work to, handle the issues of coronavirus. So when shall they get their benefits? Because as of now, there is no clear message that whether they are given. You could recall recently when the Minister of Health, dissociated himself from any form of, allowance given to him and the PS. So that also was a setback to the allowance that should have gone to health workers. And these health workers now, this was an opportunity for them to receive directly from the offer by AFRICEL. But now that it has to stop, so it's another question, when shall they get more money?
All right, thank you very much. We got to leave it at that, and of course we'll keep following the developments. But for now, thank you very much for your time. Ibrahim Presba, senior editor and correspondent of iAfrica TV. Thank you again. Now, next we head to Somalia, because Somalia partners with the World Health Organization to distribute life-saving materials to African countries meant for the fight against coronavirus global pandemic. Medical equipment from the WHO and Jack Ma Foundation are expected to consolidate efforts to contain the deadly disease in Africa. Health experts have warned that Africa could be the next epicenter of COVID-19, but authorities are not relenting in their fight. Let's have more details of that in this report.
The Bole International Airport, Africa Humanitarian Air Hub, is now fully operational, and the World Health Organization and the World Food Program coordination effort is making supply delivery to African countries for their fight against COVID-19 possible.
With this partnership, life-saving events are getting to our countries, to all our countries in the African region. This is something that must be commended and must be praised, because we are being able to send supplies and life-saving supplies in the middle of this pandemic to our countries in Africa.
Ethiopian Airlines, in charge of the actual delivery, has already made first round of supplying these medical consignments to respective African countries, and says swift deliveries will continue in the coming few days.
So it will continue geographically closer countries like Djibouti, Sudan, Uganda, Tanzania. So it will continue like that, spreading to West, South and East Africa. We'll have 50 countries to cover. The schedule is with 737, 800.
At the moment, more supplies for coronavirus prevention and treatment are making their way from the rest of the world to Africa. The soon-to-come supplies include one from WHO and the other from Jack Ma Foundation. And this humanitarian air hub will receive all and deliver it to respective nations in the coming few days.
So instead of having two flights, the same cargo will have two shipments. One coming with supplies coming from WHO, the second part coming from the Jack Ma Foundation, and we will arrive in countries, and countries will be informed of what they have coming there. So the WHO representative in each country with the Ministry of Health will be there to actually get these supplies when they arrive in a coordinated manner.
On the other hand, and despite a relatively enough COVID-19 related supplies at hand, African states remain to be on high alert. Both WHO and Africa CDC agreed the worst of the coronavirus pandemic is yet to come, and states must alert their citizens to practice utmost precautions and personal protection now more than ever.
From the report there in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, instead of Somalia, as I earlier mentioned. Now, finally, we head to Zimbabwe, where food scarcity is reported in Zimbabwe just 2 days after, of course, the government extended the country's lockdown to contain the spread of the coronavirus. With everyone out for means of survival, business places are congested with no social distancing observed. Prices of food items are also hiking due to the demand from the public, but the government has approved a bailout package. Here is more details of that in this report.
Less than 48 hours after President Emmerson Mnangagwa extended a nationwide lockdown, hundreds are packed in a queue for mealie meal. There's no social distancing here as survival instincts kick in.
There is no food left at home, and that's why I'm here. I cannot afford to do social distancing. If I do, my children will starve.
Asked if he's not afraid of catching the coronavirus, his response illustrates the dire food security situation many find themselves in.
It is better to die from an illness than to die of hunger.
During the course of our interview, word comes from the front of the line that the mealie meal is finished. There's disbelief mixed with anger.
The shop staff need to explain how it ran out when only a few people managed to buy. Where did it all go?
The staple mealie meal is in short supply, owing to successive droughts that have slashed grain harvests, while soaring inflation has seen the prices of other basic goods consistently go up. All that was before COVID-19 and the restrictions it brought, which have driven up the numbers of the vulnerable. In response, the government will pay out 200 Zimbabwe dollars, the equivalent of $8 to 1 million of them.
From the report there in Zimbabwe, finally, we will just bring this news bulletin to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, you can also log on our website on africa.tv. Many thanks for the pleasure of your company. Do stay safe and bye for now.